Good morning to you. It's Monday. If I'm sticking to the schedule, it's project day. So let's get a few things wrapped up around here. And so the first one is off on the side. There's actually one really simple one right now. It's that the timer for the pool pump is off by an hour because daylight savings has just ended. So let's get that handled. And let's see. It should think that it's just past 10 a.m. So that's roughly it right there. That takes care of that one. Now the next one actually involves the pool pump. Involves this. In the last video I mentioned that it was leaking. So what I actually need to do is take the top off of this thing, pull the O-ring and kind of grease it up and make sure that it's sitting properly. So let me just grab the tripod, get some music going, and get that done. Wow, that quote-unquote lubricant seems more like it's turned into adhesive. I think it's silicone based, and that's why I had to disappear for a little bit, get the pumice out to try and clean my hands. Now I'm going to get back to it. Okay, everything seems to be running normally. That's 2 down. Next, I think I actually want to test the chemistry in the pool and give it a good sweep and see if that gets rid of the rest of the yellow that's in there from the algae problem. So, on to that. Alright, well, I don't know how much you know about pools, but the chemicals, chlorine seems to be a little low and the pH seems to be a bit high, but I will report that back to the authorities here and see what they want to do. I did brush off a bunch of yellows/browns. I don't know if it was just dirt that was collecting on the sides. Pushed it down towards the middle. Ultimately, if I vacuumed it, that would be better, but it's that much more of a production. I just wanted to get it started and see, after brushing it down, whether it comes right back or what. I can vacuum the pool tomorrow. We've got to figure out what we're going to do in terms of do we shock again. I suspect we're going to shock the pool again just to get the chlorine level up. So that's pretty much it for this. Now on to the next project. Okay, next up we have the wetness going out the gate there. Now part of that is just because I drained the filter, but yesterday the sprinklers went off and my mom spotted that some moisture had come under the gate, and so it's coming from the sprinklers on this side here, but ultimately I'm not sure exactly why so much water is coming down. So I need to run the sprinklers and look at what's happening. I think what it is just, especially this one right here, I'm hoping I'm pointing to the right thing. Yeah, right there. That one is projecting up the hill, but it's kind of a short hill and a steep hill, so it may be that the water is just coming down. So I'm just going to go ahead and run the sprinklers. Let's see what we find out. Okay, if I got the right one, I'm literally only running them for a minute. Yep. Don't want to waste water while I'm trying to solve a water problem. So that's projecting upward. Okay. Okay, I can see a problem down at the other end. Okay, that was a minor problem. It just wasn't exactly aiming in the right direction. So I don't know. Okay, I can actually see. Let me flip you back around again. Over by the green garbage can there. There's a little bit of moisture on the ground coming from that one, so let me turn them back on again, see what I can find. Let me get you a little closer. Okay, that's closer, but now that I think of it, it just makes more sense for me to just run around and figure this out, and I'll let you know what I find. If you look carefully, you can see that this one's spitting kind of funny, so I think it needs a little bit of cleaning and adjustment. Alright, after several attempts, I think I finally got it. Here we go. There we go. It took a few different things. The pipe itself, that riser, must have been just slightly out of round because it kept leaking, so no matter what cap I had on there, what kind of sprinkler head, it was actually leaking down the side of it. I'm not sure I got that 100%, but it should be better. It's always dripped down here behind the green garbage can. So I tried replacing the pipe, and then I was looking at it and I said, wait a minute, we've got the iris right behind it, we need to go a little higher, and since I've done the work on the other side, I had some pipe left over from stuff I pulled out there, so put a taller riser on it, ended up swapping out the shrub adapter at the thing right at the top of the pipe before you get to the actual sprinkler head, because these sprinkler heads can be either used for pop-ups or for a riser like this, and you need the shrub adapter to do that. Well, that shrub adapter had a crack in it, so it was spitting out the side of the shrub adapter itself. So I threw that one away, put another one I had left over in there, and put the taller pipe in there, and put the sprinkler head that happened to be on that pipe. I had swapped out another one, but anyway, basically I think I got it working. The real problem is I've got to wait for everything to dry out around here. It's all nice and wet along the side from all the work I've been trying to do. The other thing is I had kept seeing water show up right on my on top of my bins for the gravel and further over for the compost. And so I had standing water, and I kept dumping it off, and I was wondering, where in the world is this coming from? Because I don't think the sprinklers are doing this. Well, I think it's this particular sprinkler, because it was... Really? Sorry about that. I have neighbors who are just plain inconsiderate. Anyway, that's thrown me off. So I think this one was spitting over in that direction. There is another sprinkler I need to look at, but one thing at a time. I think I kind of got this one problem solved, and I'm going to wait for it to dry out. So the next time I run the sprinklers, which I'll have to do during the week, not on the weekend, but I'm only running them like for a minute just to see if they're leaking. So I'll let everything dry out, and I'll be able to do that. So now on to the next thing. Well, the plan was actually that I was going to add the other two micros over here, but I'm starting to run out of morning time. So I think I'm going to do one more thing, and then I'm going to call it quits for the day. I'll pick this up tomorrow. I've got other things I'm doing inside, so a lot of stuff's getting done today, just not all of it out here in the garden. So let's take a look at the other. That would be this sprinkler head right here, this pop-up. The plan is the next one up the street there, that one's going to get 2 micros coming off it, but this one I'm going to leave as a pop-up. But I don't really need to spray 180 anymore, and if I'm right, this is an adjustable, so what I can do is adjust it so it's just coming in a column kind of coming this way, sort of a pie slice going that way. There's the pepper tree right here. So it would come this way and miss the tree, and then this way, just so I can get this patch of lawn right here. So yeah, I'm just going to go turn the sprinklers on and see about adjusting it. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to matter much. It's mostly hitting the tree, even though I have it actually aimed. Let me see if I can... Even doing that, really, I mean, it's putting a little bit out on the lawn, but it's not nearly efficient. So I think I need to come up with another solution for getting a little bit more water on this patch of lawn, because if that's all that sprinkler's doing, it's kind of a wasted location. So I'm just going to clean up and call it quits for the day. That's it for now. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Good morning. It's Tuesday. It's projects day. Let's get back to the swimming pool. I put in some chlorine yesterday to try and bring that level up. I'm going to go test the water right now, and then I'm going to vacuum the pool, and we'll see where we are with the algae. Okay, I know this is going to be hard to sort of see from this angle, but I've got to keep the camera in the shade, and I wanted to give you sort of the wide picture of everything. So first I brushed, then I pulled out the vacuum and tried to vacuum. The idea of the brushing was to get it off the sides, because trying to vacuum the sides is a little time consuming. So if I could get it off the sides, it makes vacuuming simpler. But unfortunately, when I was vacuuming, there's still some yellow spots on the bottom that just didn't get sucked up. So that's why I followed up again with the brush, trying to loosen this stuff up and push it towards the drain in the deep end there, and the furthest away from us, so that hopefully what will happen is the filter will suck it up and then filter it out, and it doesn't come back. It's just one of those things we're going to have to keep chasing, and if it keeps coming back, then we're going to have to take the next measure, which is yellow out, an algae killer, which means we need to have the chlorine and the pH up, which is what's happening right now with the chlorine. We put stronger chlorine in yesterday, so that's when I showed you, hopefully. I don't know if you know much about pools, but basically the colors kind of matter on those test kits. So yeah, both the chlorine and the pH are up, and that's the condition you want for killing the algae, adding the chemical to kill it. So I'll have to look at it again tomorrow and see where we are, see if we've still got yellow spots or if they've actually cleared out. Some of it is just stains, some of it is live algae, and it's hard to tell the difference. So with that, I'm going to take a break for a little bit, and then we'll get on to the next project. Okay, well, as it turned out, the next thing I was going to do, which I wasn't even going to shoot, I have to wait for something on it. So, on to project number 3, and we'll come back to 2, or, yeah, anyway. I've been looking at this and thinking, after looking at pictures in the last week from what it used to look like when we had the pine trees in here, and seeing how much some of these plants have grown up, I think what I actually need to do is create a little bit more definition. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. We'll move across the street, because I'm kind of thinking, as people are driving up the road, this is kind of the view they're getting. And it all just, like the bougainvillea especially, looks like it's all one kind of mismanaged bush, but it's actually two of them. So one of them has grown much, much bigger than the other, and I think that could be reined in a little bit and taken a little bit more off the sidewalk, and I'll explain that in a minute. But let's go across the street, see what this looks like. So this is kind of like the view that the neighbors have, and it just doesn't look well managed. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to cut back the bougainvillea, and I gotta watch out for the FedEx driver. Cut back the bougainvillea and cut things off the sort of the edge of this. How can I, let's see, let's go back to our starting point. Sorry about the sort of swaying there. So you can kind of see from this angle that it's right up on the edge there, and the sprinklers are actually in by about a foot. So the sprinklers are only watering the base of the plant. I could scale the plant back just a little bit off the sidewalk. Then I really don't have to worry about people getting attacked, so to speak. So that's what I want to do. I want to just kind of create more definition and get it off the sidewalk. I also want to go for the geraniums. The beds that we have for the geraniums, those are right up against the wall. I think I need to get them off the wall of the house itself. I don't want to have water trapped in there, because it will start creating other problems. So that's really the thinking. I need to get all that straightened out and managed. I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to actually set up the tripod and do time lapse. Otherwise, I'll just come back periodically. Unfortunately, the phone's probably going to end up in the sun, and it's probably going to wig out on me after a period of time. We'll see. So it's a few hours later. Something went wrong, I don't know what. just kind of ignored it and kept going and got everything done as far as cleaning up around here, and then took an extended break. And I got a few more things to do, but let's just sort of wrap this up. So you can see the individual plants are a little bit smaller. I pulled a bunch of vegetation out to get the geraniums off the wall. There was an extra one of these agaves just hidden in the back. Got rid of that. Unfortunately, the bird of paradise isn't looking great. But yeah, I mean, I managed to clean a bunch of this out, pull all the weeds that I could find, which is a good thing. The snake plants, they kind of suffered. I mean, I pulled a bunch of them up, but look, there's still a ton of it left. There was a clump of root from the pepper tree that was growing a bunch of extra little, like this stuff here. I didn't get all of that, but on Friday it will be mow and blow, so I'll have the weed whacker out and I'll just take care of those. And then as far as just cleaning up the sidewalk and everything, again, Friday, mow and blow. I'll take care of that. Yeah, I think I got almost everything out of here. So I didn't get to the actual sprinklers, but now you can much easier, you can see that one. Wow, except my shadow's right in the way. You can see that one there. So that one's going to get adapted. I'll put the 2 tubes running back there. I'll put one back in the corner between the chimney and the house, pointing back out this way. I'll put another one right here, giving a 180. But I wanted to be able to pull it forward somewhat, but have it off the sidewalk so people don't step on it. And that's part of why I wanted to get the plants off the sidewalk. It just, so hopefully you get the whole idea. I'll get it all set up eventually and you'll get to see it. Yeah, so that pretty much takes care of this. What remains is getting the garbage out and some other small stuff. But I'll leave it at that. I'll leave you with this shot. Let's see if we can't back up and give you a better, there we go. Yeah, we don't care about the neighbor's car. That's it for today. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Good morning. It's Thursday, and I'll just start out by saying yesterday I was looking at the pepper tree. Actually, I've been looking at it for a few days, thinking I need to see what I can do about trying to get some of the mass out of it and give it a little bit of shape, much like I'm trying to do other places. Just if I could stay on top of things and give them the proper shape that they need, it just makes everything look that much better. So I did get out yesterday and I actually filled the big green can, cutting stuff out of there, and it still looks huge, but it's got a little bit more shape now, so I think it looks a little bit nicer. Cut some basically from this view off the left side because it was just reaching out, almost kind of reaching out towards the pine tree there. But yeah, that's what I did. I didn't record it. If I do more, I'll try and actually do some recording, but it's mainly just me reaching up there with the pole saw, cutting some stuff off, and then having to break it all up and fit it in the can. So we'll see what else I can get done. But today is backyard day, and I'll get to that. I'm going to go for a walk with a buddy, and we'll come back. Okay. Now we're in the backyard. I've done a little bit of an assessment here. First thing to notice is clear across the pool there is you can kind of see the cactus with the 3 fingers there, and then to the right of that is one that just branches and branches. And last night on security camera I had the lights turn on, but I didn't see what happened, and it come out, and if you look carefully just below the pool cover you can see bits of that cactus. So I'm guessing something was up along the wall, walking along the wall like a cat or possum or whatever, and knocked over a bunch of pieces from that, and I can only imagine it's now got a bunch of thorns in it. So, well, I guess that's what you get for walking around in my backyard. But there's that I got to clean up. I'm going to do the general sweep up, and looking at the Oh, let's see if I can tilt back a little bit. I'm zoomed in, so, but you can see that needs a little bit of trimming to get it off the slide again. And there's the other one just to my right. So that's what we'll be doing, is just sweeping up the back deck and doing a little bit of trimming and trying to generally clean up the backyard. Here we go. Alright, that pretty much takes care of sweeping up the backyard. Since I did it last week, it hasn't, since I'm staying on top of it, it's not as bad. I did trim the bushes, so that added to it, but it's good to stay on top of it. So that takes care of that. Now I think the next thing is the pool. Honestly, the chlorine is just below optimal. It's come way down, but it's not non-existent like it was before we added chlorine, so that's good. pH is still up, but as far as yellow, other than some existing stains that I think have been there for a while, I think we pretty much got the yellow out. So again, I'll report to the authority on the subject and see what he says. Dad has chased this down before, and I feel like that we're pretty close, if not already took care of it. So I'm going to let the pump run for a little while, continue to filter a little bit more. I mean, it does run in the morning, early in the morning, so I had to turn it back on. But, you know, I'll let it run through lunch, and then I'll turn it off, and I think that'll take care of that. So that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. That leaves me some time. I think maybe I can attack the sprinklers. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. I get this one sprinkler head here. I want to adapt that to a 2-port and run tubing basically to do a 180 and then run tubing back there to do a 90. Unfortunately, it's getting warm. Yes, it's November. It's getting warm. And my phone is just going to overheat, I can tell. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and I'll come back when it's done, and I'll show you the final result. Okay, if I've done this right, I should have 2 new sprinklers. Okay, the zone is now on. I'm walking around to see. Alright, that one's still doing what it's doing, but let's see. I got one here not doing anything. I got one back there that is working. Let's see if I can turn this one on. Whew. Caught me a little bit by surprise, but oh, sorry, I'm trying to adjust it and not get the camera all wet. Yeah, that's putting out a fair amount of water. That's good. Let's look at the other one. Now this should be covering this whole bed of geraniums. It's a little on the low side. I got water coming from over there, but let's see. I can't step into the middle of this and get all wet. But you can see it's only coming out a little bit. So try to turn it up. That's one thing about these, when you buy them brand new, you have no idea. Oh wow, that's tight. Wait a minute. That's also kinked. All right. Yep, it was kinked. All right, I need to dig out a little bit so I can and then let's turn it. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Yep, that's putting it out far enough. I'm feeling it right here on my legs. That's putting out a little bit. That's going to hit the purple orchid tree, so that's good. It's not coming out to the street or to the sidewalk. That's good. I can see a little bit of a rainbow, so there is some kind of blowing away, but yeah, I think that's a lot better. And they're buried, and I put rocks. Whoop, my shadow's kind of put rocks right where I had it because it's actually buried down there. There were multiple risers, and I was able to pull enough of it off to just bury the whole thing. I put the rocks to mark where it is. We'll see how the other... Whoops. That's a little bit of a problem. Let's see if I can do this. I'm guessing one of the dogs, yeah, and it just shut off. That may be a repeated problem. I've seen when people walk their dogs nearby, the dogs get curious and come in, and they may be stepping right on it. So I got to figure out maybe if I can bury that a little better. Also, the tubing is not buried yet on that one, but it's lunchtime. I'm going to clean up. I'm going to call this done for now. The main point being that when the sprinklers go off on Saturday, all these plants will get water, and it'll be more efficient than it was. So that's a goal accomplished. I'm going to leave it at that. That's it for today. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Good morning. It's Friday. It's front yard day, and I keep looking at these trees. I can see a little bit sticking out, and I think I can take off a little bit more on the bottom on the pepper tree here. So I think that's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to make a little bit of a mess before I clean up the front yard. Okay, I've pulled quite a bit out of the tree. Let's just sort of get a look. I got to get it all cleaned up. I feel like I'm zoomed in already. Back up a little so you can get a better sort of view of the stuff on the lawn. There's stuff by the ladder. The tree's been kind of lightened up. We'll take a look at that. I tried to give it some shape, but I was also trying to get, there's a lot of little pieces that, or a lot of little branches that, like even this one here, there's a lot of little ones, and I think those are the newer growth, and if I just got all the newer growth out, I'd be back to the old growth, which is probably a little bit longer, but there's a ton of it down on the street. Couldn't do that the other day because there were so many people parked here. But let's see, give you an idea of that. Let me back up and we'll get a look at the tree. Hopefully the stabilization is working. All right, that's what we're looking like now. Yeah, there was a little bit over to the left that I wanted to get rid of. I think that's looking better. This is, I'm trying to get the trees from a distance just so I can figure out what it looks like to other people. So when you're up in there, it's really hard to kind of figure out the shape you're going after. Yeah, I could take a little more off the left there. As we pass under the pine tree, which is another one I got to do, we'll come back around to what it looks like from the driveway. I think overall, aside from the glare of the sun, we're doing pretty good. So now, oh, there's a branch that just came down. That was the other thing. When you're over by the street, you want to make sure you get all the branches to actually come down instead of get hung up in there, because the last thing you need is in a windstorm and somebody's parked under the tree, branch falls, hits them, now you got an insurance claim. But I'll get that, I'll clean this all up, and then we'll get to the mow and blow. Alrighty then, that takes care of my Friday work and then some. Looking reasonably decent. Filled the big green can about half full a couple days ago. Finished filling it off and really kind of pushed it down, so I'm hoping when they pick it up it'll all come out. And 2.5 of the overflow cans. Wow, I have generated a lot of green waste. I don't think I can do any more trimming for this week until they pick up. I may talk to the neighbor and see if we can borrow one of her green cans because she has multiple. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it for today. There's one last thing to do, but after that, let's see what tomorrow brings.